everyone, welcome to Faith in the Valley. Wherever you are in the world right now, I hope that you are well and I hope that you are having a blessed day so far. So, for those of you who are new here, my name is Dee Chikwendu and I am here just sharing my journey really in terms of my current position of travelling through an unexpected injury. And so just to follow up from my first video that I uploaded, I realised that I gave a really brief kind of introduction and overview in regards to my experience of my back injury, but I wanted to share a little bit more details just in terms of what kind of happened really, and also just exploring the raw emotions around that. So just to recap, on the 4th of April, that's when the injury occurred. It happened about 5 in the morning, and I discovered that I couldn't get up out of bed, and it felt like my back was snapping in half. So, and to cut a long story short, fast forward to being admitted to A&E and just reflecting on the experience of just being in that situation where you're just not in control. And I remember through the various kind of questions and asked me about my pain threshold, and there were so many things going through my mind at that time. I remember when I was in A&E and I was lying there flat on my back. I couldn't move. I was in an awful amount of pain. The morphine hadn't kicked in as yet. And I remember just thinking about how scared I was, how afraid I felt as well, and just really in a position where I felt quite helpless, to be honest with you. I'm normally a really active person. I do a lot of walking. I do a lot of driving, as I mentioned in my first video. But lying there in A&E, it really made me think about how things can change in a second, and the curveballs that we experience in life can be quite daunting, can be quite challenging and quite difficult as well. And I think it's quite easy to, well, dismiss our own kind of feelings and thoughts when there's so many things happening in the world. And it can be quite difficult to really acknowledge your own pain and acknowledge your own situation, especially when you feel as if it's so trivial and so small in comparison to the bigger things that are happening in the world right now. I mean, the wars that are happening, the riots that are happening, plane crashes, there's so much going on. But in that space when I was in A&E and I was going through so much pain, and the raw emotions that I felt, apart from feeling helpless, was also just feeling a complete lack of control. And at that point, there are two choices. And for those of you who may not believe in God, or who may have an alternative spirituality or belief, I believe in God and I believe in Jesus Christ. And in that situation, when I was lying there and there were doctors running around me and my family members who were there, so my father was there, my son was there, my partner was there, and also my sister, one of my sisters, was there eventually. And just being in that space where you feel as if there is no one else who can do anything. And that's when you really dig deep within yourself and you acknowledge that there is someone greater than you, and there is someone who is there. And whether you call him God or the creator, he was there. And I found that when I was in that situation, in the early kind of process of my journey of the injury and all these things, I realized that I had someone who was there with me. And the raw emotions of the pain and the desperation and the questions, well, what is wrong with me? What's going on? I've never experienced anything like this before, ever. And as I mentioned in my first video, the syndrome that was caused by my herniated disc, which I have, it had pressed on my nerves and compressed them quite deeply. And that's what caused the whole kind of issue around losing control of my bowels, the numbness in my legs, the excruciating pain, etc. But in that moment, amongst the tears and the frustration and the upset and just not knowing what was wrong with me, the one conciliation and the one piece of hope, really, was to know that God was with me. And to be going through those different emotions over and over again in your mind and not knowing what's physically wrong with you, there's a place that can settle you, and that place is in God. And I felt that it really helped me. And even in those moments where I couldn't speak out loud, within my self-conscious, within my spirit, I was just saying to God, God, please help me. I don't know what's going on. All I can see is people running around me and the concerned expressions of my family around me. And in the midst of that, when the morphine started to kick in, I started to feel really unwell and started to bring it back up. Not very pleasant, may I add. But when you are in these situations, it is possible to have faith in the valley. And it is possible to have faith when you're experiencing something so out of the blue. And I really hope that as I continue to share my experience of my recovery and my faith, that it will help you wherever you are. And I also pray that wherever you are in the world, that you're having a blessed day, and to be reminded that you're not alone. It may feel like what you're traveling through right now is really, really very difficult and very tricky, but there is someone who cares, and you're not alone. And so I really hope that these few minutes have been encouraging. I will be back to share more reflections and also to share prayers and poetry as well that I've written along the way while recovering. And I really look forward to speaking with you again soon. Please do share and subscribe. And if you're going through an experience or going through a difficult time, please do leave a comment in the messages below. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Until the next time, continue having faith in the valley. Take care.